So today we are going to take a crack at the massive steaming pile piece of crap that is Destiny 2 question mark, because this is a review and that's actually not my opinion. I mean, why would I give it to you in the first 15 seconds of the video? That's totally stupid considering the fact that I need to keep you here so you know my channel doesn't wither and die. But either way, off topic, Destiny 2. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it okay? And what makes me qualified to say anything about it? Well, yeah, me personally, I only got to play the first mission twice. Yeah, that's it. That's literally the only thing I have to go off of the entire game. The first mission, the mission you start off the game with. Twice. Once on PC, once on console. So, what makes me qualified enough to review this game? Absolutely nothing besides the fact that I'm a consumer and, I have played enough video games. I have lived, breathed, and just sucked in video games for my entire life. I have spent most if not all of my life playing video games, just understanding, playing, reviewing, and formulating my own thoughts on different types of games and whether they're good or bad and whether or not I enjoy them versus whether or not if they're good and I don't enjoy them. So I would say I'm a pretty well-rounded consumer. I do say so myself. So when I say this game felt good, I'm not sitting there and just pulling that out of my, ass and just spitting it out like it's something that's totally worthless to me. Because personally, when I say this game was good off of what I felt, it felt really good. So, and what I mean by that is just based off of the mechanics and the different gun types I was able to experience, the gameplay mechanics felt very polished and very punchy and very fun, the way they should be, because that was honestly what made the first Destiny very fun, was all the different game mechanics and just all the little different doodads that they threw in there and made the game really fun to play. So while story-wise, if you're playing Destiny 2, you know how bad the Destiny 1 story was. And if you don't, let me just say this. All hype, no meat. That's pretty much all it was. Yeah, that's literally it. You got this crappy cutscene that said, "Ooh, the darkness is coming." Ooh, quote unquote, air quotes, the darkness. And then it never explained what that was, and it never explained what the Traveler is. So if you're jumping into this and you're looking into this Destiny 2 for me to explain what light is and what the Traveler is, let me tell you, no one has the slightest clue. No one. They didn't say it in the first game. They hinted at it. They had this piece of crap system called Grimoire cards, but no one bothered to read those. And if you bother to read those, you have a problem. You really do. Okay. So either way, back onto Destiny 2 for, those folks who actually care about this game and don't care about the lore and care about whether or not it's fun. It feels a lot like the first Destiny, but added on to, like built upon. Because the mechanics still felt very fun and very fluid, but on console, they felt exactly the same. Like the shooting mechanics and the fighting mechanics, they felt exactly the same. And that's because they were. Now, don't get me wrong, the guns were different. The way the guns fired were different. Now, when I say fired, I mean like range and spread, not, the bullets act differently. No, not like that. Like you do have your occasional hit scan weapon versus your projectile weapon, but that's getting too deep into it. That's on a gun by gun basis, and of course that's going to change, because for the love of God, it's a shooting game. If it doesn't change, you need to buy a new shooting game. So either way, on console, the controls and the gameplay and the way it felt very much the same, but it just felt polished, and it just felt better. Because, on console, for the player, like the player character, didn't feel much different. Like, it didn't play differently, the guns were different, but of course we've gone over that. But what felt really different were the enemies, and the way they acted and the way they moved. That did feel a lot better. And you may be like, oh, but they didn't act any different. Well, for one, the hitboxes felt much better tuned, much more finely tuned. Because I remember Cabal, if you did not hit a headshot, just if you did not hit a headshot and it was a one-shot kill, you were pathetic. Because the hitbox was the size of your player. Or half of that. I don't know. All I know was it was ridiculous. To the point where if you shot above the waist, you got a headshot. Period. There's no, no, you got a headshot. And that's because the hitboxes were ridiculous. But in this, it feels much better. It feels so much just finely tuned to where if I shoot him in the arm, it feels like a, credible amount of damage for an arm shot versus shooting them in the arm and you get a headshot. Because that is literally what happened in the first Destiny. Every 3 seconds, like literally headshot, boom, 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 boom. I mean, Cabal missions were the easiest. And I can't say much for Vex and the other enemies, because I know Vex had a slightly harder hitbox, but that also felt a little bit, like, that one still felt a little bit off to me. It felt a little bit too big. So I'm just saying that felt so much better. And not to mention, well, I can't say the enemies got a whole lot more creative. Well, they did have a lot more variation in there, but it still didn't felt like the wave of enemies that you would hope from a game. Because I can tell you the Destiny 1, Destiny 1, that it's now being called, it did have a lot of repetitiveness when it came to the enemies. Because there were only 3 types of enemies. You had the Fallen, the Cabal, and Vex. That's it. I might be forgetting some, but I honestly don't care, because that's all that matters. Like, that's all that I can remember, and that's all you got. You had, like, the few variations of each race, but you never got a whole lot of juice and oomph to it. And I doubt I'm gonna get that again, and I doubt we're gonna get that again, because it just doesn't look like it. It really just doesn't. Like, I think we're gonna get stuck with the same 3 races all over again. And of course, they're gonna sprinkle in a little some new enemies here and there, but I think you're really gonna get the same 3 base enemies. The same 3 base enemies, all stuck together with a fair bit of variation between each. Like, you're gonna have the old variants, the different type of Vex, and then some new special types of Vex. So special. But I can't really see the gameplay varying a lot there. Honestly, I don't see the gameplay varying a lot, and that's what it really comes down to. I don't think they're getting special with the enemies, and I don't think they're gonna get special with the physics and the actual gameplay of the game, because of course they're going to change up your abilities and stuff like that, but honestly that's really something that can be done on the fly, and it's something that was done every DLC. So why should we treat it like anything else when it's a separate game? Those are simple DLC add-ons, and I'm not going to glorify them, and I'm not going to sit there and call the game good for them adding special variants of enemies and this and that. Because what I'd say is, you are buying Destiny again. Like, you're not buying the same game, but you're buying not an add-on, but more like, how do I say it? Like a sequel that's not really a sequel, like a Transformers sequel. If you like the first one, you're definitely gonna like the second one, because they're pretty much the same thing. Like, they're the same thing with a different story in a different location. And when you put it like that, that sounds a lot like Destiny 2 and Destiny 1, just in a nutshell. Just, same thing, new location, new story. I mean, that's literally it. So, yeah, personally, I've already bought the game. I've already paid for it. That's because I loved the first Destiny. I played that thing for like 200 plus hours. And, I'm gonna enjoy the second one, I can tell, but that's because I enjoyed the first one. And that's also because my expectations are in the ground. Like, they're not high, they are in the ground for this game. Because I'm expecting it to be a cookie cutter piece of crap. So, when I say buy this game, my first impressions are, if you enjoyed the first Destiny, you will enjoy this game. Because honestly, you're going to have more story and you're going to have more locations, but that's it. It's going to be like a non-indie version of Destiny. And I know Destiny wasn't indie in the first place, but with how bare bones it was, it might as well be. But that was still an incredible game, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm not sure if you're understanding my point, and I'm not sure if I'm hitting this from the right direction, but all I know is, if you played the first Destiny, you're gonna like this one. If you didn't try the first Destiny, wait for some gameplay on this one. I don't know, I've been avoiding the gameplay, like it's the plague. I know I say that a lot, but that's really the only term that actually works. But yeah, I'm avoiding the gameplay like it's a plague because apparently on battle.net right now, it says the game is not coming out till 10/24. That is literally about a month and 20 days. Yeah, so something tells me that PC is gonna be a long time away. And I am going to avoid Destiny until I get to play it on PC, or I'll play it on console. I don't know, just PC looks so much better. PC Master Race, okay, buddy? But either way, yeah, that was my kind of review on Destiny. I got really off track towards the end, but that was my kind of review, and that really, I don't have much I'm going off of, so always, take everything I said with a grain of salt, because who knows, maybe they only showed the 3 main types of enemies. Maybe they added 14 new species and I haven't seen it because it's in the main game. I don't know, I don't care, I'm not gonna look at it until I get my hands on it. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm gonna throw my mini review based off of literally the same mission twice. So, let's call it a good day. I think I was able to get some really good thoughts out there for only, playing the same mission twice. I'm stalling for time. You see that? Okay, I'm gonna end it here. Jesus Christ, this got out of hand. Alright.